Evil came to our community. This evil was unannounced, unprovoked, and most importantly, unwelcomed.
It was just over a week ago on a Sunday morning, an armed gunman unleashed a targeted attack on a Mormon church in Grand Blanc Township. 4 people were left dead and several others were hurt, and the church building was destroyed by fire. Tuesday night, the community gathered to remember the lives that were lost and also the lives impacted by this tragic event. Attacks on places of worship here in the U.S. are becoming more common. How can these sacred gathering places prepare and protect themselves from such an unthinkable act? Joining us now here on First at 4 as we begin today is Mike Harvill. He's the president of the Security Leaders Coalition. It's a faith-based nonprofit organization helping faith-based organizations increase the level of safety and security relative to their individual congregation activities. And thank you so much for joining us today, Mike.
I'm glad to be here, Don. Thank you.
You know, there was a time when you wouldn't think that an act of violence would take place at a church.
Yeah,
That's
sad.
not this time. It's becoming more common that these acts of violence are taking place at these sacred places of worship. How can worship leaders and church leaders help protect themselves, their churches, and their congregations?
Well, unfortunately, we've come to a time where it's really important that churches have some type of security or safety team. When a church has no type of protection or people who are dedicated to protecting the congregation, then they become more vulnerable and they are a soft target. And that's what somebody who's bent on doing harm to a church, that's what they're looking for, is a soft target. And if the church can show we're not a soft target, they very well may cause that person to go someplace else.
And how does your organization in particular help churches reach their security goals?
We will work with the churches. Usually what we do is we do monthly meetings, and we also have training classes that we do. And so the churches, and I use the term church loosely. Let me clarify real quick, because we're open to all faiths.
Places of worship.
Correct,
Yes.
Places of worship or houses of worship. And so when the house of worship itself is the member. And so the house of worship would have their security team leaders who would attend our monthly meetings, and then we would have monthly training classes that we can do so that it can help to train their people. And we've even negotiated deals with service providers and on products and services that can provide discounts to our members, so it makes it easier for the houses of worship to pay for things that they really need to have in order to provide a safe environment.
This is a new climate when you talk about places of worship, houses of worship being targeted, soft targets, and being targeted for acts of violence. Do you get a lot of pushback from church leaders who, really don't want to bring security into the church?
There are a lot. There are a lot that feel that way. They don't want to have security in the church. Some people say, okay, if we're going to have security, we want them to be incognito. We don't want people to be able to see that we have security. Unfortunately, that's really the opposite direction they want to go with it, because they do want a security team to be seen. They want somebody to know that there is a security team here, so that hopefully they'll move on and not do harm, because you don't want to have to deal with a situation like what happened at the Mormon church in Grand Blanc.
Yeah, and very quickly, tell us, in your opinion, you've been working with places of worship and church leaders with security. In your opinion, what is the best type of security? Is it cameras? Is it locking the church doors? Is it armed or unarmed security? What's best when it comes to protecting parishioners and the church?
All of it. Whatever the church can afford. Because you can start very simply. In fact, I tell churches that it may be a small church, and so they can't afford to have a security team and put money into that. But what they can do is lock the doors. And so many people say, but
That's
we want to
tough.
be we want to be welcoming. We want to
Yeah.
allow people to come in. But I always ask this, which is more welcoming? Having an unlocked door, somebody walks in and then they're looking around, their first time there, they're looking around trying to figure out where to go. Or you have a locked door with somebody stationed at that door that when people approach the door, they open the door and welcome them in. Those people walking up to the door had never had a clue that door was locked. But then if you have somebody approach the door that you have concerns with, you don't open the door and you can talk to them through the door.
Yeah. If someone wanted to attend one of your meetings, how do they get in contact with you and your organization?
The best way is just to go to our website, which is www.securityleaderscoalition.org.
Okay. We want to thank Mike Harvill. He's the president of the Security Leaders Coalition. Thank you so much for being here today and sharing some insight with us about how to keep our places of worship secure.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.